people that decide to not have children
Have better lives?
these days are called dinks. I don't know what it doesn't seem like an acronym because there weren't any periods, but they live pretty dang good lives.
Shit's fucking bad around here. Tonight I said to Jenny, I was like, man, I wonder who's going to kill themselves first, me or him.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, don't say that.
Well, I'm Jules.
And I'm Jason.
And
we doing filmographies.
Filmographies.
That's right.
Yep.
On the 8th day of Pitt's, Miss my true love gave to me. Cutting Class, a slasher movie from the late 80s. I've seen it before and forgot who the killer was. I thought it was somebody else. Is this movie a satire?
That's a good question. Callie watched this one. I didn't have time to watch the other one with her. And she was like, I don't know what the hell's happening in this movie.
I read somewhere that it was supposed to be a parody of like slasher movies, but it's so close to them, and I don't watch enough of them that it just seemed like a very silly slasher movie.
Yeah. First off, the Martin Mull shit seems like it's almost from a different movie.
Right, and that's what brought the girl into it, the main actress. She decided to do it because Martin Mull was already attached.
Yeah, Jill Sholin, she did not want to do this movie.
No. It's bad.
But she did have respect for Roddy McDowell and Martin Mull.
That's some pretty heavy hitters right there. I would like both of them. I would be like, yeah, cool.
And it was the first movie directed by Saspo Palmberg.
And he's a writer of other movies?
He wrote and was uncredited, according to IMDb, as the A director for The Exorcist 2.
The Heretic?
The Heretic.
Yeah.
And as it was his first official directorial movie, she was like, well, shit, maybe it's worth it.
Isn't The Heretic boring? But it's got that awesome nun shot. That's the one with the nun and the scissors, right? The big garden shears.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
That's an amazing scene.
Great.
Yeah.
This ended up being the only film that Pallenberg directed because they were like, no more after this.
It's not oh, I mean, we'll get there.
Yeah. So while they were filming this, Brad Pitt once flashed a passing car.
Yeah.
While taking a break between scenes, and the police showed up. We heard there's a magnificent wiener around here.
Oh, I guess he didn't moon him. He flashed him. Mm-hmm. His peener? Man, Could you imagine just showing your peener to people?
Nah.
Me neither.
No. Jill Sholin?
Was that the actress?
Yeah. And Brad Pitt met on this film and eventually became engaged, though they never got married.
Fucked up.
She did.
Did she do much else after this? I didn't even look.
A few things. Nothing major. It was shot in 87, but not released until 89. Stephen Slavkin, the screenwriter, went on to create and write the classic Nickelodeon television series
Salute Your Shorts,
based on his time with Brad Pitt exposing himself.
Bonawana, we hold you in our hearts, and when we think about you, it makes us want to fart.
Yeah.
I love Salute Your Shorts.
The tagline for this movie? Some people would kill to fit in.
That's not what's going on.
No, so why don't you just go ahead and hit us with the synopses?
I can't read right now. I told you I am in the middle of a blackout.
Oh, I think I misspelled somebody's name in here.
Cutting Class. Brian Woods, Donovan Leitch Jr., was recently released from a mental ward after being found insanely guilty of murdering his father. He is a creep, makes no bones about it. Paula Carson, Jill Sholin, is the object of both Brian's creepy affection and Dwight Ingle's Brad Pitt borderline frat boy rapist goading. Folks are dying, but it's not a big deal until the movie decides it has been a big deal the whole time. But who is killing people? And is it because they are cutting class? Also, did they film the William Carson III Martin Mull scenes before they even knew what movie they were making? I mean, that's gotta be it, right? Oh, and Roddy McDowell plays Mr. Dante, the principal who has some seriously criminal tendencies. For that matter, what is the deal with all the adult male teachers in this movie? I mean, Coach Harris, Dirk Blocker, is a straight creep pedo, right? And what about the janitor? Shawls, Robert?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Robert.
Robert Gladini? He seemed kooky, but harmless, but then he also comes off as a predator. Is that the parody?
I don't know.
Movies?
I don't know, because it almost feels like that could be the parody, but then it almost feels like the
Donovan Leitch,
Brian Woods, who's Ione Skye's brother.
He's British though.
That's what it said in the thing I saw.
Is Naomi Skye British?
I don't know.
I don't think
With
she
a name
is.
like that.
I was quite astonished that he was British. He looked younger and better in, like, 2010, one of the IMDb pictures of him.
I thought he was a ghost.
I thought he seemed like a...
I thought he had died in the mental ward and was now a ghost.
Really?
Because he's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember when he was hiding behind that water jug?
I know. How could you forget that moment?
Callie lost her shit.
Me and Jenny started laughing hard.
She was laughing uncontrollably at that point. It's like, this is the goofiest, silliest, dumbest thing quite possibly ever recorded.
Right, because how could he be in there?
He's behind it.
Right, but he followed them in there and then somehow got into that room before them and hid behind there?
And decided to go behind it?
Or he's always been in that room?
Because he's everywhere.
Is that the joke?
So the movie starts.
Is it a comedy?
And there's a boy delivering papers. I don't know if you noticed it, but one time when he threw the paper, you could see it get blown back and just unfurl over his head right before it left frame.
Don't they say in the trivia that it's the same house he keeps delivering the papers to?
They really do cut back and forth, and it seems like he's going nowhere. So then all of a sudden, the daughter, shoeless, she comes out shoeless in a T-shirt. And
oh, yeah. What's up with
presumably
that?
no panties because she's holding her shirt down.
Oh, I assume she had panties on, but she's just covering up her
I don't
private
understand
area.
what that's supposed to be.
Why would you go out there like that?
She's-
I'm kind of embarrassed just going outside without my shirt on.
Yeah.
When it's hot out.
Yeah.
I'm like, please nobody look at me.
You know, and then Martin Mull comes out. He doesn't say anything about the way she's dressed. He's just like,
Promise me 3 things. Number 1,
Do my homework. What's 2?
no boys in the house while I'm away. And number 3, and most important, no
Cutting
class. Until then, you're daddy's little girl.
and she throws the paper away, and it reveals that.
A murderer is loose.
Is that what it says? I thought it said the boy was released from the hospital.
Well, he murdered his dad.
Right.
He's out of the mental hospital.
It also seems like he's been in school for a while because they have like a file on him.
Well, I mean, I think he was there a couple years ago. It seemed like he didn't go away very long.
Do you think he was in school while he was in the hospital? Because why would they release him into the appropriate grade?
No, he definitely was not in school. He's in the hospital.
So he's 5 years older
he's-
than them?
What? No, him and Brad Pitt used to hang out. I feel like he went to the mental institution when he was like 14.
And they're like,
now
okay,
he's 17.
you're just a senior now?
Well, I mean,
What is this, the blip?
I think if you're able to, they make you go to school when you're in the hospital.
That's what I'm saying. So you think he graduated every year whilst in the hospital and they're electroshocking him every day?
I don't know.
I want to know.
Good question.
Probably the best question.
How about that haircut? Why
Oh,
is that
God.
haircut
It gets
supposed to-
longer throughout the movie, too. It's really not.
His hair's so bad. It makes him look like he's some sort of idiot. He looks like Bizarro Superman. or
It's the
something.
haircut where it's too long and not short enough. If it was more of a buzz, it'd be fine. If it was more grown out, it'd be fine. But it's that weird in between that
It's
you
like
hate
half a flat top.
when you're growing your hair back.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I guess I'm going to look like an idiot for the next 3 weeks. And
Better get my hats out.
so he's just staring at Shoeless for like every time he sees her.
I mean, is it revealed that like him, Brad Pitt, and Shoeless used to hang out all the time?
No, him and Dwight Brad Pitt were friends.
BP.
And I thought it was going to be that Brad Pitt was responsible for his dad dying.
It seemed like that was the case when they touch on it later. Like he's trying to forgive Brad Pitt for killing his dad and him going to jail.
Yeah, and he took the rap for him. So I'm like, oh, he's coming back for his revenge. But when Martin...
Well, I thought it was more sad than that. Like he came back and was trying to pick up the friendship because Brad Pitt's what really mattered to him. I thought like he had the realization of what really matters to him while he was in the mental institution.
So in the first 5 minutes of the movie, really, we see the lady. Martin Mull then goes to some cabin. It feels like he drove out to the country, right?
It seems like he drove 10 feet down the block.
Later,
to a
that's
bar.
what it's revealed as. But it feels like he's driven somewhere.
Right, but then when you see the bar that he goes to, isn't there like another house behind the bar where it seems
I don't know, but when they go on that field trip, he's there.
Yeah.
And did they drive out to the middle of nowhere? It kind of feels like they're just behind the school.
No, I think there's like a house behind that bar where it just seems like this is still civilization.
So he go, I'm here to hunt. And they go, you? Yeah. And he smears mud on him.
You smell like the city. Now you smell like the earth.
Isn't he spitting his hand along with the mud and then smear it on him? Doesn't he take a dump in his hand and just smear the turds all over him? He's like,
I want you to take a dump on my chest. No, I don't know what he does.
thank you for using that clip.
And he goes right out, and he's seeing ducks, and he's shooting at him. And then all of a sudden, somebody says, hey.
Mr. District Attorney, over here.
I was almost 100% sure that it was Brad Pitt. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. I guess if you don't know who Brad Pitt is, you won't realize that he's the killer.
Well, you know, they used a body double for all of the murderer scenes in this movie so that you would not be able to figure out which person was doing it.
Oh, it's POV, too, a lot of it.
Well, there's one point towards the end where you see like the killer come in and you can't really make out their features, but it's not either.
Oh, and Dirk Blocker.
Is that when it is?
Kinda.
You know, I've seen this fucking movie, Jules.
Yeah.
I rented this movie when I was like 10 or 11, and I thought it was pretty good.
That's hard to believe.
And I completely remember a different killer in this movie. I watched the whole movie through the lens of it being one person, and when they reveal who it was, it's like, what?
Yeah, when the reveal came, I said, oh.
Oh, really?
That's
kind of great. You went with that, but like I was
Yeah.
looking through it through this other lens, and it completely fit the whole time.
So when he says, hey, Martin Mull, and he shoots him with an arrow through the chest,
Me, Brad Pitt, I'm gonna be famous soon.
I'm like, oh, that's Brad Pitt. I guess it's spoiled, but whatever.
I was like, I think Martin Mull lives.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
He
I
certainly
think
does.
I think he makes it.
So he's supposed to be gone for a week. So then we're in school, and we're seeing Creepo Brian just leering. He looks like Marshall Mathers a little bit.
I went to John's rave with Ron and Dave and met a new wave blonde babe with half of her head shaved.
He's just leering like he's about to spit some hot bars or something.
Or just start drooling out of his mouth. Just
That
big
too.
stream coming out.
And she's not.
So maybe he's doing a great job of portraying somebody who just got out of the mental institution.
Maybe. He wears a dumb big sports coat, suit coat. The
Yeah.
sleeves rolled up. And
Do you see one of the other theories is that he's homeless in this because he's always wearing the same outfit?
could be. But she's not like disturbed by him, you know. In fact, she's in some ways like not receptive, but definitely not sending signals.
I mean, I think this is their friend from when they were younger. Maybe not best friends, but maybe just
Maybe.
somebody from class she talked to sometimes.
Maybe. But she's that way with everybody, and they're all creeps. So maybe it's just her.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how creeped out everybody is.
Eventually, does the art class happen before the hot dogs?
That's hot.
She's in an art class. Well, so maybe it's after.
I thought she was going to be a nude model.
I did too.
I was like, that they don't do that. They don't pick a member of the class to be the new model.
No, not
That's
in high school.
insane. Yeah.
When
Even in college,
children-
you pay somebody on campus to do it,
But
or
especially in
elsewhere.
high school when they're
Underage?
children, yeah.
Yes.
She's wearing a bathing suit, and they're drawing on her, or drawing her on paper. And the creep is just in the background.
And the teacher's creeping,
The
too.
teacher, yeah, every teacher's creeping on her. And he goes, "You there," because he knocks over a bust and grabs the titties.
You, come here. Oh, you want to be in my art class? I'll put you in my art class. We can always use another model.
Stand next to her and hold this apple. And they're about to make out. And then class dismissed. And so her friend's a little bit of a trashy tramp, they make her feel like.
No.
I think she's sexy as hell.
Yeah.
And they're out hanging out at the hot dog stand. And Brad Pitt, he's like, "Hey, girl," because he's dating Shoeless. And he goes,
Well, I'm gonna get something to eat. You want anything?
Well, if I can't have your ring, I have this craving for a hot dog.
and when he goes in, Brian comes out. "Here's a hot dog."
Gosh, it's a hot dog.
How did you know that I wanted one?
You had that look.
I just could tell.
I just knew it. Deep
Does.
down inside, you needed a hot beef injection.
This is what your mouth needs.
Thanks. And then Brad Pitt comes and he goes,
Get in the car.
Why?
Get in the car.
and then they get in and he goes,
Roll up the window.
and they do.
He
He goes
starts
over to
beating
him.
them all.
And he goes, starts pumping in the exhaust. And he goes, hey, Brian, man, look, we used to be friends, but it ain't happening now. He's not really a jerk. I mean, you know,
Not in this circumstance, but
No,
he's
he's
a
a-
real fucking asshole monster a few other times.
he is a bad guy.
I was like super into Pitt, and then I was like, "Oh, you're bad. You suck."
Yes. Once we see him drinking beer throughout the rest of the movie, he's hiding in her car at one point.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Hey, Brian, look, man, we used to be bros, but now it's hoes before bros.
I know that we like hung around and cut your dad's brake lines so he'd die.
Yeah, and thanks for not cheesing me out or whatever. And okay. And the first person to officially die is the art teacher.
Yeah, he gets pushed into that kiln.
Yeah, he's in the kiln. He kilns him.
Oh, that's a good one.
Burns the shit out of him. And smoke is just billowing out of the
Yeah.
chimney of the school.
I guess it's got to filter out somewhere, right?
Feels like a first floor art class. It's like a 2 or 3 floor building. Just kilns out.
I guess you think it would go out the
Kiln's
side
just
of the
heat.
building?
It's not smoke.
Well,
It's
but
just
if
an
you're
oven that's
rending
cooking
fat in there, your body's full of fat and liquids.
But you wouldn't need an Auschwitz-style exhaust system for making pottery.
I never thought of it. When I was watching it, I was thinking about my teacher saying, make sure there's no bubbles in your clay or they explode in the kiln.
And what does he doesn't leave him in there, right?
I guess not.
We don't see what happens, but
I wondered this a lot because
nobody
the bodies
mentions
seem
the
to
fact
disappear.
that the art teacher's dead until way later.
Yeah, nobody is like, oh, the art teacher's missing. Oh, it smells like cook bodies in here.
No.
Oh, the next people that get murdered, we found their bodies.
Yeah.
No.
And the janitor is a real like Vietnam guy, you know? It almost feels like Ernest P. World.
And if you know what's good for you, you'll play ball. Oh, great. What position?
So the principal, played by Roddy McDowell,
He's not really doing much in this, right? He's got
No.
like 3 scenes and he doesn't matter.
that's the thing. I'm not a huge Martin Mull fan, but you get Martin Mull,
I like Martin.
and then you
Mull
just
fine.
have him like lingering in isolation, barely surviving.
Yeah, like what's the point of that?
Why would you? Yeah.
People like that Fernwood Tonight a lot.
Our phone lines are open now in case any of you have never had the pleasure and would like to talk to a Jewish person.
Why did he not kill him or make sure he was dead? He just shoots him with the bow and arrow and he leaves. And he's not dead. In fact, he removes the arrow.
I mean, he should be dead.
Well, it probably hit him in his sternum,
Kind of look like you hit him in the heart.
which isn't going to pierce his heart. Sternum's no joke.
I don't know about things.
I know you don't.
I'm stupid.
I know you are,
Yeah, thank you.
but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know.
Nice.
And so the art teacher's dead. The principal calls Shoeless into his office because he's got a new cheerleader outfit. And so he goes, "Oh, here's the new outfit. I can't wait to see you in it."
Is he like 55, 60? I like
I
Roddy
imagine.
McDowell quite a bit.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, word."
Try it on. I'll turn around.
Mr. Dante, you'll see me tomorrow.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to see you in it at the. Does he do that for all the cheerleaders individually?
No, he's
Because they're all wearing the new
grooming
uniforms.
her.
So, they're at the basketball game. Brad Pitt's just really being a fucking obnoxious jerk on her. "Hey, girl, let's make out." And she goes, "Well, no, I got to go in and cheer, and you're playing basketball." And his dad comes out. "Hey," I kind of look like the bad guy from the Karate Kid, karate instructor. So they go, "Hey, son, I got this guy here to come scout you. What the fuck are you doing out here? Get in there. You should be on the court." The scout goes, "Most serious players by now, they'd already be on the court." I'm just saying. So he goes in, and I was expecting a real Teen Wolf moment, but it didn't happen. At this point, Shoeless's friend, let's just call her Barb, she says, "You know what?" She goes, "I'm not going to wear any panties."
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Give him a little thrill.
She goes, "I like it." So they're out there, and she's bending over, and they're just full cootering.
But you see her panties.
You see her buttocks and her thigh. You don't see any
Meat.
Arby's. Flabby babby, habby pabby, But the boys and the bleachers are like va 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 voom, and the principal's like awooga, And the next thing you know, Brad Pitt's stinking up the joint. But the next thing you know, now they're sitting in the bleachers, the very top. It's like, what kind of cheerleader goes to the top of the bleachers during the game?
That lives their life a quarter mile at a time.
Apparently. So Barb's got a boyfriend too, and he's a little bit of a tool. And he's under the bleachers because he picks up money that people drops.
Is that why he's under there?
That's what yeah. But he's looking up at her vagina.
Yeah.
Which is now fully spread, the way she's seated. He sucks her in. And she goes, "I'm going down, girl.
Yeah.
I'll see you later." And she gets down there, and somebody grabs her boyfriend and slits his throat. She doesn't apparently see who it is and is immobilized, apparently, because all you need to do is run out of the bleachers.
Right, but instead she's like reaching out.
"Help me!
Help me
Sure."
up there.
And they're all cheering. And Brad Pitt gets into a fight because he sucks, and they throw him out. and she doesn't hear Barb being murdered, I guess.
She also could have like gone around and like bit people's legs, get
Yeah.
their attention.
Something. You know. So afterwards, the janitor is mopping up a huge puddle of blood, and he picks up the mop.
There's popcorn all over it too. It's like, so you
hell?
didn't sweep before you started mopping? You're gonna mop the food up?
Well, not only that, like you didn't see the puddle of blood that was already there when you put your mop down.
Where do you think these bodies go?
I don't know.
Maybe
Somewhere.
there's some secret rooms in the school.
Oh, we see them later.
Do we? Oh, we do. Where
But
are
not
they?
they're in a closet full of mice, probably in the
I forgot
chemistry
about that. How fake
room.
they look when they fall over.
Earlier, the chemist teacher, he blows some smoke with carbon fiber or something. He does a lab experiment. Sodium and water makes it go.
Oh yeah. It's gonna play in later.
Again, now there's 3 people dead and missing, and nobody comments on it.
Maybe they're off together.
Shortly thereafter, she does ask where the boyfriend of her friend is, but doesn't mention her friend. And Brad Pitt's just spiraling out of control at this point. He keeps being mean to her and forcing her to do things.
What does he force her to do?
Go out with him, break into school, and use her key. That's when we see him hiding behind the water jug.
Oh, yeah, but okay. But they're like, we'll use your key to break in, and then they just break a window and crawl through the window.
The key's only for the file cabinet,
Oh.
not for the window, which is the same window they climb in again when they break into school.
Isn't there a 1.2 where it seems like maybe they're going to fool around and she's like, I got to study? Or no, what does she say? Like, you have to study?
That too.
Fun. What a
Yeah,
fun girlfriend.
Before
But I guess,
the
hey,
basketball game, I think.
she's going to get you places, bro.
Well, and that's just it. She seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders, and he doesn't seem like all that popular.
He should be ultimate, though, right?
What is it about him? He's a jerk. He's got no future.
He handsome.
Kinda.
Man, looking pretty good.
I mean, against Gordon Lightfoot over there, yeah, but we didn't see the whole student body. Principal's looking pretty fucking.
Yeah, Roddy.
See that
Yep.
booty?
Yep. You know what? If you run into some vampires, he'll help you kill them.
And Dirk Blocker, he's the gym teacher. He's riding Brad Pitt pretty hard and
He's
sexually.
a fucking real asshole.
Keep it in your pants. Get up the rope.
Dude, remember when Brian falls off the rope?
Brian Woods, what are you doing?
Brian, what the hell?
What the fuck are you doing? Are you stupid?
You shithead.
He fell 20 feet. What the fuck's your problem? He didn't mean to bump you when he fell.
He didn't even bump
He
him.
didn't do a koala drop on
He
you.
just fell, and then he came over.
Yeah, okay.
So
I saw this movie on Friday, my birthday. It was
They-
my birthday movie. It is now Thursday.
they find out that he's been getting electroshock treatment for every day. And Brad Pitt actually seems like, oh, damn. Right? He brings in his car to the auto shop, which is where the guy is. And they go under there. Hey, don't fuck with anything. Yeah, I know. Remember when we fucked on my dad's brakes and he died? Yeah, and watch. And it still must not have been a week because she's not worried that her dad isn't home yet.
No.
We see him. They're on a field trip, and he's like right there.
Yeah, and he's like,
Mother Nature talks to you.
Sounds like Mother Nature has cramps.
Oh, it must be the bog.
yeah, the bog screams at you when you walk by it.
Yeah. And then the vice principal calls Lightfoot in, and she takes off her sweater, and I'm thinking, oh, is she going to get sexual?
Who's the vice?
The lady? The old
Oh,
crotchety
yeah. Oh,
witch?
yeah, she's kind of hot.
She takes off her coat when she calls him in. Because she goes, our jobs as teachers is to imprint ourselves on you and inside of you. And are you ready to take the pledge? And he goes, I'd rather suck donkey dicks. Brian says that to her. And she goes, well, you're suspended. You could have had this.
Right.
And now you won't.
Man.
Unless you want it still.
Here's what I think you and me do.
Mm-hmm.
We create a machine. The machine is the same machine we used to go back into after hours and have sex with your car.
So he's suspended, and she goes to make a photocopy of the suspension, and the copier doesn't have a lid,
No.
and it's just shooting green light everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And a guy comes from behind her and just starts beating her on the machine.
I mean, is he even really beating her? It almost just seems like he's just pressing her head into the machine really hard.
That's what he's doing, but she's bleeding profusely.
But, like, with such strength, you're not breaking the glass, but you're crushing her head to death?
Well, and not only that, but then rigor mortis sets in immediately because she's just stuck on the printer.
How's she die? I don't understand why she's dead.
Here's another
It's like
question.
Sean Young falling on that table.
How many copies of that suspension slip was she making?
Right.
Because it's just firing off photocopies of her face. And Brad Pitt comes in. Oh, Miss Winelock. And he, touches her head. And everybody else comes around like, what's happening? She's dead. And then he sees Brian in the crowd. Brian killed her. And they're like, what?
It's like, oh, man, fucking Brad Pitt over here trying to get away with murder by pinning it on Brian.
See, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. This is why
the art
the whole
teacher
movie,
was digging on his girl. He didn't like her dad.
that basketball game, it's feasible that he wasn't there when the murder happened.
He got thrown out, right?
Yep.
And now Miss Crabapple is fucking dead. And
He's got a drinking problem. He's abusive.
Yep. And I saw the ring right away in the photo that Brian was holding in the dumpster.
Yeah.
So Brian takes off. Pew! He runs away.
Shit.
Brad Pitt's like,
That's
stop
good.
that guy. I think he stole my wallet. And he's chasing him, and they're running all over the place through doors and shit. And then Brad Pitt loses them in the steam room.
Yeah.
And Brian somehow ends up in the garbage. And he comes up holding the photo like he's Terminator in reverse. And
Why is it in the gar? Oh, they dumped it in there.
Yeah. And it's Brad Pitt's ring that he goes fucking on and on about in the entire movie. Barb's like, oh, if you love Shoeless, why don't you just give her your ring? My family ring? I'm like, family ring? I thought it was your fucking school ring. Why the hell do you have a family ring?
You don't... Do you not have a family
I don't
ring?
have a family.
Look at my crest.
I don't live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Oh.
And so now everybody's hot for teacher, and they want Brian dead.
Yeah, they sure do.
We're going to burn books next week. This week we got to talk about Brian.
But then later on, Brian's just like walking around in town like it's no big deal.
No big deal.
Isn't he goes to that girl's house, right?
Eventually, yeah. She
on that bike?
Well, he's
like he killed some
he's
little girl and took her
ditching
bike.
her earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And she looks out. Who's there?
He's just out there holding a
And
hot
he's
dog.
across the street.
I got this for you.
He's across the street behind the neighbor's hedges.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really creepy shot.
With his bike. And he slinks backwards.
Yeah, isn't that super scary, actually,
Yes.
when he's peeking up from there?
Yes. And so he goes, so she's in her house. She's wearing a robe, and she's running a bath. She goes up to kneel on the floor to check the water.
Fuck yeah.
And she's disrobed, except for her granny panties.
Uh-huh.
And she turns around, and we see hands creeping in like it's Bella Lugosi. And she turns around, and it's Brian. Nothing. And she cups her breasts. Honey, they'll kill me. And he goes, I'm not going to kill you. She grabs the scissors.
Buy a hot dog.
If you want to kill me, go ahead. If you think I'm the murderer, I'm not. And he shows her the picture. Oh, my God, it's Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's the murderer.
And he puts her robe on her.
Remember when he's yelling at you?
Like a gentleman.
He's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, so earlier in the movie, Brad Pitt comes over to her house. And he puts on one of Martin Mull's suits.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Remember that?
Hey, am I turning you on wearing your dad's clothes?
Because then they jump into what I'm assuming is her dad's bed. And
Let's pretend I'm your dad and I'll fuck you.
Well, he goes, the suit's too big for me, but I'm bigger than your dad down there.
Why would he know that?
That's what I said to Callie. I'm like, is he cupping him? Is he peeping on him? Do they measure? And why would you think that
They're
would
dick
turn
buddies.
your girlfriend on? My dick's bigger than your dad's. We both know how big it is, apparently. Me because I spy on him, and you because he molests you. Like,
I don't know what turns her on. 'Cause she doesn't seem like a horny girl. In
no,
this
she's
movie
not,
at
and
all.
that's perfectly
She's got
fine.
Zero horny in her.
She's like, I ain't about it.
Why can't she have some horny in her?
She doesn't need it.
I want her to be horny.
It's bottling up.
Oh, so like later on when she gets to college,
and you have sex with her, and she ejaculates you up to the ceiling.
that's like Scary Movie. Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty good one,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Except he comes so hard and blasts her to the ceiling. Anna
Right.
Faris. I was trying to think of her name the other day. And so he's now wearing what I think is the exact same suit Brad Pitt tried on because he didn't have clothes. It's covered in blood, apparently. He shows her the ring. Oh, my God, it's Brad Pitt. And they go to break into the school for some reason.
Yeah, what do they do in there?
I
I thought all the
Don't
murders were
know.
going to happen initially when they first broke into the school. I thought the whole movie was going to take place. It'd be a murder thing in the school.
Oh, like Chopping Mall, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Boy, Chopping Mall is such a much better movie than this.
Is it good?
I enjoy it. There's titties over there. Oh, my God. And there's titties in this, in the shower scene.
I zoned out at one point during this movie, and Jenny was like, "You missing the boobs?" And I was like, "Jennifer, I never really cared about boobs a ton in movies until we started doing filmographies. And now I really, truly appreciate the boobs.
I relish them.
They're often an island in a sea of not interesting movies.
Yeah.
And
you forget how prevalent they were.
There used to be really a boobapalooza.
Just like, oh, there's boobs.
Yeah.
Great. Love it. And so
they just want to slap them.
So, yeah, they break back into the school.
Just punch them like punching bags.
The janitor sees them. And he's gonna mop them. So they split up and run away.
Because they're dirty from coming into the school.
Yeah. She runs into the math teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And they're running around. They go to a classroom to hide. And the loudspeaker comes on and he plays music. They run to a different room. The loudspeaker comes on and he plays the music. Oh, he's chasing us. And how is he aware of where they are?
No, it doesn't make any sense. There's no closed circuit television.
No.
CCTV.
And the janitor's being an idiot.
How does he not die in this movie?
I don't know.
It's amazing.
She finds Barb and the boyfriend strung up in a closet with a bunch of mice running around. You know?
Yeah. They dead.
Yes. Yeah. And so her and the math teacher are now in a room. And there's a 1 and a 2 written on the one and other door. And there's a math problem. If you go from Albuquerque to somewhere,
we'll cut your head off if you come out this door.
How much is it or whatever? The answer is
7.
1 or 2, and you know. So the math teacher's just like,
damn, you would hurry. I can't think. I'm not prepared.
Ah, fuck! I can't perform under such pressures. Oh wait, I got it. It's 1. You sure? Yeah, absolutely. He opens up the door. Boom! He gets cut with an axe.
Ooh, it's so funny because when he gets hit in the head, you're like, well, that's the fakest thing in the world.
Goes, oh, and he holds the axe.
And then they cut to him sitting on the ground later, and it's like, oh, that's actually a really good axe in the head effect. That looks good.
So he falls into the classroom with the axe lodged in his head.
We see the person that did it at this point, right?
Remember that part, though.
But at another point, Brad Pitt comes up to like a locked door, and she's like, no, he's the killer.
Yes.
And they don't let him in.
No. And it's Lightfoot, Brian. He's been the killer the whole time.
Donovan Leitch. The most obvious murderer is the murderer. And when he did it, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I very specifically remember Brad Pitt being the killer in this movie.
I'm like, oh, he's crazy now. Maybe. No, he's been the killer the whole time.
I really thought.
Because it's his job.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to be the best he can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's G.I. Joe.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep me down. And he goes, yeah, I'm crazy, and I want to have sex with you as well.
But I am going to kill you.
And the whole time I'm going to Cali, he's got nuts.
What? He's got nuts?
Knee him in his fucking nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's just like, oh, I'm catatonic. And she knees him in the nuts and runs away. And Brad Pitt suddenly starts axing down the door, the other door. Where do you get the axe? Is it the same axe?
Maybe. No. Could be.
There's 2 axes in this school?
From like those boxes for fires?
Yeah, but
firebox?
No, they're not going to have axes. Firemen come with axes.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever. So she runs.
They're in the boiler room.
And she goes, okay, decidedly, Brad Pitt, you are now not the bad guy. So you're my boyfriend again. Let's run away, though. But we can't get out because doors are locked.
Oh, yeah, chain shut.
Chain shut. The janitor's still creeping around, too, like Pig Dick from Manhunt. They eventually end up in the shop room. And for some reason, every piece of machinery is turned on and running. Steaming, hissing,
well, doesn't he
grinding.
hit like one button and it turns on all the machines?
I guess. It's a Fantasia fucking factory. So, you know, they fight, him and the boy. And Brad Pitt gets manhandled. And he goes, all right, look, Brad Pitt's stuck in the vice.
Oh, yeah, he puts his head in the vice.
And there's a drill that's going to kill him.
That's so stupid. Why would that drill be coming at him?
Have sex with me right now. She goes, I tell you what, hammer to the head. and he's dead.
It's pretty amazing when she hammers him to the head.
And the janitor comes in like, what the hell?
Listen, I gotta talk about this. I really liked it. I liked it when she murdered him. I liked that she murdered him so viciously. The hammer is great.
It just came back to me. Brian reminds me of Brendan Fraser. Young Brendan Fraser. When he looked exactly like Brian.
Not the whale.
No, not at all. Because in like Jewish Days, what's that movie called?
School Days.
School Days. He's got that buzz cut, and he's young, and his eyes are really fishy.
This motherfucker smells like latkes.
Is that what he says?
I don't know.
I'm Ben Affleck. I'm a anti-Semite.
Yeah. Fuck Dreidels.
Matt Damon's in here too?
Dreidels suck.
Maybe it's just Matt Damon and not Ben Affleck?
I throw menorahs through windows.
Yep.
Because I hate them.
My girlfriend's Rhoda Mitchell with brown hair and brown contact lenses in her eyes. Like that movie. And then they leave. And the cops are like, all right, take her home, Brad Pitt, and do her good.
You earned this.
So now they're driving.
Maybe you're not such a bad guy.
Now they're driving down the street, and all of a sudden, now earlier in the movie when Brian ran away, they did do a manhunt, and a bloodhound runs up to Martin Mull. And the dog's like, woof, 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 and he goes, hey, how about you just wait, because somebody's going to come for that dog.
Yeah, what does the dog even do? It just sits there?
Yeah, it just sits there. And what is it going to look for? Do they have a scent of Brian? Guy wears one suit of clothes. They didn't make the dog smell anything, so what are you going after? And so now they're driving down the street because she goes, let's go fast.
Oh, yeah, because he's driving like an asshole in the beginning of the movie and almost killed a child.
Yeah, because the kid was running out in the street. But right before they drive away, Brad Pitt actually has a really nice somber moment here. He's shook. His head was in a vice, you know?
Yeah, that's bad.
And she's just making a joke, and he's just like, yeah. She goes, let's go fast.
Probably the last thing that you would like be aware of is like a whooshing sound as your skull cracked open, like a whooshing of air as the inside cavity is cracked open.
Yeah.
That's so upsetting.
Yeah. Your eyeball pops out like a casino. And so they're racing down the street.
Like a pug, somebody picks up and tries to stuff it back in there.
And we see Martin Mull on a hilltop, like 8,000 feet away. And then a split second later, he's in the street. And Brad Pitt's brakes are cut. Oh, no, Brian. And, they're going to kill Martin Mull finally. And they don't, though. They skid. And Martin Mull comes over to the car like, are you cutting class?
Bah, cue
and
credits.
looks at the camera. Yeah.
Did you see that little tidbit in the IMDb thing where they're like, Brian makes a big speech about killing in the past, present, and future. The past being his dad that he killed, the present being all the people he's murdering, including them, and the future when he kills Brad Pitt because he cut his brake lines.
I didn't see that, but that makes sense because he was saying some shit about killing transcending time.
Yeah, he just sounded like a
and
lunatic.
space. Yeah, like a real idiot. And yeah, man, that's that movie right there.
You love Donovan Leitch?
I thought he was good at what he was doing.
Such a weird.
I don't think they knew what to do with it.
God, you know what? If his hair was just better, I think I would have liked him a lot more.
Because here's the thing. Anytime something is happening in the movie that's not him involved, here he comes floating in. Why are you here?
Jenny was laughing hysterically every time he just like slid into
yeah,
the scene.
It's literally like they're sliding into Brian.
How is he here? She hates horror movies. She hates slasher movies. She was laughing pretty good at a lot of
So that's why I'm like, oh, he must be a ghost haunting them. Because what, unless he's Jason Voorhees, how is he everywhere at once?
Yeah.
He's everything everywhere all at once.
He's homeless. I thought he was the hero of the movie.
Oh, yeah. I thought eventually I was like, okay, obviously Brad Pitt's the killer.
For sure.
It turns out his ring's in that picture because it was still copying photos when he grabbed her head and she was already dead.
Oh, that's what it was?
It was the end of the ream.
I thought it was superimposed.
No. There was a scene also when Brad Pitt came to talk to her, and when they cut to a different angle, they're clearly not standing in the same part of the room that they were just in moments before that.
Oh.
And I was like, sloppy. So what do you give this movie?
It's like a 6. It's not the best slasher movie.
No, it's good in a way that I don't think was intended now, years removed from it coming out.
It was really, it was bizarrely funny in the wrong way several times.
It's confusing. It's very rare that a movie is just truly baffling.
Well, how about that Dirk Blocker dies on the trampoline, right? He's jumping
Why
on the
is
trampoline.
he jumping on his stomach?
I don't know.
People
They
don't do that.
Put the flagpole underneath to spear them.
But it's like a 9-foot flagpole, you know? It's like
right,
the trampoline base is only 3 feet off the ground.
But then that death scene is like really quite silly because there's the shot from far away where like he's supposed to be speared, but then the close-up of his like dead face looking directly down through the net.
Well, and you can, when they did a close-up of his body impaled, you could see that it was just a forced perspective and that the pole was just next to him.
Whoever thought we'd see 2 fucking Dirk Blocker movies?
I didn't.
Let alone 2 Dirk Blocker horror movies.
I saw the name in the credits and I was like, oh, yeah. And then I was like, oh, is that Dirk? That old man? Oh, that's Dirk.
I wonder if he's on Twitter. Maybe I'll tweet Dirk Blocker about this.
He's a legacy filmmaker, man.
If Brooklyn Nine-Nine didn't exist, he would probably be excited that somebody was tweeting him. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine is very popular.
He's on there?
Yeah, he's one of the 2 sloppy detectives, the older guys. Hitchcock and Scully.
Oh.
What did I give this movie, a 6?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's a 6. It was fun. The best slasher movie, Scream? It's elevated. It's still scary. It's funny and interesting.
I guess. I like Chopping Mall.
Robots? I wasn't allowed to see that when I was little.
Lasers and such. I'll give this movie a 6 as well. It's,
better than it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Quite stupid.
Yeah, again, it's one of those movies that it's not intended to be the way it is, I don't think. And the way it is what makes it good.
Hey, listeners, can you call and tell us what your favorite slasher movie is? And why it's not Scream.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us that this movie is a parody, a satire of slasher movies, or that it's not? Have you seen this? If you have, call us.
Mm-hmm.
We Doing Filmographies.
763-634-1897.
We've been really committing to that number the last episodes that we recorded tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if we're ever correct.
Right. We'll lay it in properly if not. What do you give old BP?
This is where we start to run into that issue where he's good for the most part, but the character, I just don't like rapists,
No, he's a 6, right?
Yeah.
Because he got the 7 on the last movie because of that really great moment when he pulls off the mask.
And he's not, you could tell a lot of ad-libbing is going on in that, but he is still charming. He isn't doing it well, but he's charming. He's not that charming.
He doesn't really have any redeeming characteristics in this movie.
No, when it first starts out, I'm thinking, okay, he's not a total dick with the hot dog thing. This might work. And then immediately dovetails to just being like possessive. And
that's interesting seeing him be such a fuck, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you give him?
6.
6. Double 6.
Double 6. Double set.
Quad 6.
Double 6. Double 6.
Yeah.
6 is all around.
Mm-hmm.
6, 6, 6, 6. No mark of the beast here.
No. Or beyond that.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow with
The 9th Day of Brad Pittmas. And it will be,
I think it's Happy Together.
Imagine
me and you and me. A movie that I saw when I was 11, and I thought it was really good. I wanted to be college with a girlfriend. Bam, 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 bam. Helen Slater and Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, really?
They're roommates because she's got a boy's name.
Is that song in the movie?
Watch Happy Together and then see if it gives you the feels.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.